In the cold expanse of space, the red planet Mars had always been a source of mystery and intrigue. After decades of robotic probes and remote observations, humanity had finally sent a manned mission to its surface. The crew of the SS Odyssey was a mix of seasoned astronauts and leading scientists, each with their own hopes and fears about the mission. Captain Eliza Carter led the expedition with a determined focus. Her crew included Dr. Raj Patel, a geologist with a deep passion for Martian history, and Dr. Lina Garcia, an astrophysicist eager to unlock the planet's secrets. Their mission was simple: explore, gather data, and return with new insights into Mars' potential for past life. As they roved across the barren landscape, their instruments began to pick up an anomaly beneath the surface. Initial scans suggested a massive structure buried deep within the Martian crust, far beyond the reach of their current drilling equipment. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, the team decided to investigate further. The discovery came when Dr. Patel's team managed to drill through the crust to reach the hidden structure. The drill broke through into a cavernous space, revealing a massive metallic object of unknown origin. The structure, cylindrical and adorned with strange alien symbols, seemed to hum with a faint energy. Dr. Garcia, analyzing the readings, noted that the energy levels were far beyond anything previously encountered. "This isn't just a piece of technology," she said, her voice tinged with awe. "This is something monumental." News of the discovery spread quickly, and back on Earth, excitement and fear took hold. Governments and scientific organizations convened in emergency meetings to discuss the implications. Was this superweapon an ancient relic, a dormant threat, or a key to unlocking new realms of technology? The global response was a mix of awe and apprehension. While some saw it as an opportunity to advance human knowledge, others feared the potential dangers. The debate grew heated, and the decision on what to do with the discovery became a matter of international urgency. In the midst of this chaos, Captain Carter and her crew prepared for their next steps. They had unearthed something that could change the course of history, and their mission was far from over. As they awaited instructions from Earth, the weight of their discovery pressed heavily on them, knowing that their actions would shape the future of humanity. The discovery on Mars was just the beginning. The secrets of the alien superweapon awaited, and the future of the world would depend on the decisions made in the coming days. The discovery of the alien superweapon on Mars sent ripples across the globe. The urgency of the situation prompted an emergency summit convened by the United Nations, with representatives from all major world powers. The meeting took place in a high-tech conference center, equipped with the latest communication technology to accommodate the influx of global delegates. As leaders, scientists, and military experts assembled, the room buzzed with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. The debate was about to begin, and it was clear that this was not going to be a straightforward discussion. Dr. Lina Garcia, having returned from Mars, was among the key speakers. She presented detailed findings about the superweapon's capabilities and the potential risks involved. Her presentation was meticulous, showcasing images and data that revealed the superweapon's complex design and unknown energy sources. "Based on our preliminary analysis," Dr. Garcia said, "the superweapon appears to be a relic from an advanced civilization. Its energy signatures suggest it could potentially be activated or repurposed. We need to understand its purpose before making any decisions." The debate quickly divided into two main camps. On one side were those who advocated for cautious exploration. They argued that the technology could offer tremendous advancements for humanity, from new energy sources to breakthroughs in space travel. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity," argued Dr. Raj Patel, who had joined the summit remotely. "We can't afford to let fear dictate our actions." On the other side were those who emphasized the potential dangers. They worried that activating or tampering with a superweapon could lead to catastrophic consequences. General Marcus Hayes, a prominent military figure, was a leading voice for this camp. "We're dealing with technology we don't fully understand," he warned. "The risk of triggering an unintended disaster is too great." As the summit progressed, tensions escalated. Some delegates called for immediate action to secure and dismantle the superweapon, while others demanded further study and a more cautious approach. The debate grew heated, with accusations and counterarguments flying across the room. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, a secretive faction within the global powers began to make their own plans. This faction saw the superweapon not as a threat, but as a strategic asset. They believed that controlling the superweapon could shift the balance of power in their favor. Unbeknownst to the public, this faction began orchestrating covert operations to gain access to the superweapon's control systems. Their goal was to harness its power and potentially use it to secure their own geopolitical interests. As the official debate dragged on with no resolution in sight, the sense of urgency grew. The world watched and waited, knowing that the decision made in these crucial meetings would determine the future of humanity's relationship with the alien technology. The stakes were high, and the consequences of the forthcoming decision would echo through the annals of history. As the summit concluded with no definitive action, the world held its breath, knowing that the real challenge lay ahead. After days of heated debate and mounting pressure, a decision was made. The superweapon's control systems would be accessed and studied. The international coalition overseeing the project appointed a team of elite engineers, scientists, and security personnel to take charge of the operation. Captain Eliza Carter and her crew were brought back from Mars to oversee the initial phases, given their first-hand experience with the superweapon. The operation was set up in a high-security facility designed to accommodate the complexity and potential danger of the alien technology. The facility, dubbed the Artemis Lab, was a sprawling complex of reinforced walls, advanced monitoring systems, and a specialized team of experts dedicated to ensuring safety and progress. As the team gathered in the Artemis Lab's main control room, the atmosphere was a mix of excitement and trepidation. The superweapon was now housed in a specially constructed chamber with its alien symbols illuminated by soft blue lights. A massive console with an array of unfamiliar controls stood in front of it, a focal point of the operation. Dr. Raj Patel took the lead in analyzing the structure, using sophisticated scanners to probe the superweapon systems. His initial scans revealed that the technology was both ancient and highly advanced, with energy patterns that defied current understanding. "This is unlike anything we've ever seen," Patel said, his eyes wide with amazement. "The energy levels are far beyond our current capabilities. It's as if the technology is designed to harness and amplify power on a scale we can't yet comprehend." Dr. Lina Garcia, focusing on the control console, worked alongside Patel. The console was a labyrinth of alien symbols and interfaces, many of which seemed to shift and change, as if reacting to their presence. Despite the unfamiliarity, the team's top cryptographers and linguists began working to decode the symbols and understand the controls. Hours turned into days as the team made slow but steady progress. They established communication links with the alien technology, which, to their astonishment, seemed to respond to their attempts to interface with it. The superweapon systems, while alien, appear to have some form of adaptive intelligence, offering clues and data as they interacted with it. Captain Carter monitored the operation closely, her military training ensuring that security protocols were followed to the letter. She understood the potential risks and was determined to ensure that the team's work did not inadvertently trigger any unintended consequences. The breakthrough came when Dr. Garcia successfully established a stable connection with one of the superweapon's primary interfaces. It was a moment of triumph. The screen displayed a complex series of diagrams and schematics, offering a glimpse into the superweapon's design and purpose. "We're making progress," Garcia announced, a mixture of relief and excitement in her voice. "We're starting to understand how the control systems work. This could be the key to unlocking its full potential." However, as the team delved deeper, they began to notice subtle anomalies. Occasionally, the systems would emit a low-frequency hum, accompanied by strange visual distortions. Dr. Patel speculated that these could be signs of defensive mechanisms or latent programming designed to protect the superweapon from unauthorized access. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the Artemis Lab, the secretive faction began to act. They had infiltrated the security and monitoring systems, setting up covert channels to gather information and manipulate the operation from behind the scenes. Their goal was to gain control of the superweapon before the full extent of its capabilities was known to the public. As the team pressed on with their work, the complexities of the superweapon became increasingly apparent. They were on the brink of unlocking its secrets, but with each step forward, the risks grew more pronounced. The balance between discovery and disaster was delicate, and the path ahead remained fraught with uncertainty. The unveiling of the superweapon had set the stage for a series of dramatic events. As the team continued their work, the true nature of the technology began to reveal itself, and the stakes for humanity's future grew ever higher. The tension in the Artemis lab was palpable. After weeks of painstaking effort, the team was finally ready to attempt the activation of the superweapon. The alien technology's controls had been deciphered enough to initiate a preliminary test. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as everyone knew that this step could either herald a new era of human advancement or bring unforeseen dangers. Dr. Lina Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel, supported by a team of engineers and scientists, stood before the central control console. The alien symbols on the console glowed softly, reacting to their presence. With a deep breath, Garcia inputted a series of commands, following the decoded instructions they had painstakingly assembled. The chamber's lights dimmed as the superweapon came online. A low, resonant hum filled the room, growing in intensity. The metallic structure of the superweapon seemed to awaken, its surface shifting as if coming to life. Holographic projections appeared, displaying intricate schematics and energy fields. Captain Eliza Carter watched closely, her hands resting on the security controls. She knew the importance of this moment and the potential risks involved. The team had established multiple failsafes, but there was always a chance that something could go wrong. As the superweapon systems activated, a powerful energy surge surged through its core. The energy readings soared to unprecedented levels, and the superweapon's exterior began to emit a soft, pulsating glow. The holographic projections revealed the weapon's core mechanisms, an elaborate network of energy conduits and control matrices designed to channel and amplify power. The initial tests went smoothly, and the team was able to confirm that the superweapon could be controlled remotely. The technology was incredibly advanced, with features that suggested it could be repurposed for a variety of applications. It was a monumental achievement, but it also came with a growing sense of unease. As the team continued their tests, subtle changes began to occur. The energy output became more erratic, and the system displayed occasional fluctuations. Dr. Patel noted that these anomalies were consistent with the defensive mechanisms they had previously observed. "This isn't just a passive technology," Patel said, his voice tinged with concern. "There are elements within the system that seem to be reacting to our attempts to interface with it. It's almost as if it's aware of our actions." Garcia nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We need to be extremely careful. If the superweapon's defensive systems are active, we could be triggering responses that we don't fully understand." Unbeknownst to the team, the secretive faction within the global powers had been monitoring the activation closely. They had gained access to the superweapon's control data through their covert channels and were preparing to seize control of it. Their objective was to manipulate the superweapon's capabilities to serve their own interests. As the activation tests continued, the superweapon's energy output reached a critical threshold. The chamber's alarms blared, and the system displayed warnings of potential instability. The team's excitement turned to alarm as they realized that the superweapon's power was becoming increasingly difficult to control. Captain Carter ordered an immediate shutdown of the system. The chamber's lights flickered as the team scrambled to stabilize the superweapon's energy output. With a final input of commands, they managed to deactivate the primary systems, bringing the superweapon's activity to a halt. The room fell silent, save for the residual hum of the deactivated technology. The team was left to assess the situation, their earlier triumph overshadowed by the realization of the superweapon's volatile nature. "Are we out of danger?" Carter asked, her voice steady but concerned. "For now," Garcia replied, her eyes scanning the readouts. "But we need to analyze the data and understand these fluctuations better. This technology is far more complex than we anticipated." The awakening of the superweapon had revealed its incredible power, but also its inherent risks. The team faced a crucial challenge: to harness the superweapon's potential while safeguarding against its dangers. The coming days would be critical in determining whether they could unlock its secrets or whether the superweapon would prove to be a threat too great to manage. The successful activation of the superweapon was a pivotal moment, but it also marked the beginning of a new set of challenges. As the team worked to understand the complexities of the technology, an undercurrent of secrecy began to permeate the operation. Within the Artemis lab, the team continued their analysis, but there was growing concern about the potential for misuse. The secretive faction within the global powers had been closely observing the situation, and their covert influence was beginning to make itself felt. Late one night, in a hidden control room within the Artemis lab, a group of operatives working for the secretive faction accessed the lab's security and monitoring systems. They had infiltrated the facility's network, allowing them to intercept communications and manipulate data. Their leader, known only by the codename Sable, directed the operatives with a precise and calculated demeanor. Sable's goal was clear: to gain control of the superweapon and leverage it to advance their own geopolitical agenda. "Ensure that we have access to all data streams," Sable instructed, his voice a cold whisper. "We cannot afford any interruptions. Our timeline is tight, and we must act before the world realizes what's happening." The operatives began tampering with the data feeds, subtly altering readings and creating false reports. Their manipulations went unnoticed by the primary team, who remained focused on their work. Meanwhile, Dr. Lena Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel were engrossed in their research. They had successfully stabilized the superweapon's energy output and were now working on understanding its broader applications. However, they started noticing discrepancies in their data, anomalies that seemed out of place. "Raj, are you seeing this?" Garcia asked, pointing to the fluctuating energy readings on her monitor. "These spikes don't match our previous observations. It's almost as if the system is reacting differently than expected." Patel nodded, frowning at the data. "I've noticed the same thing. It's possible that there's something we're missing in our analysis. We need to cross-check these results with our previous data to see if there's an underlying pattern." The growing sense of unease was not confined to the lab. Outside, the global debate over the superweapon continued, with various factions pushing their own agendas. The secretive faction's influence was subtly shifting public opinion, sowing discord and confusion. In secret meetings held in shadowy locations, Sable and the operatives planned their next moves. They intended to exploit the superweapon's capabilities to gain an upper hand in international negotiations, using it as leverage to achieve their objectives. Back at the Artemis lab, the team's work was becoming increasingly pressured. As the discrepancies in their data grew more pronounced, they faced mounting frustration. They suspected that external factors might be influencing their results but lacked concrete evidence. Captain Eliza Carter, concerned about the integrity of the operation, initiated a review of the security protocols. She suspected that something was amiss and wanted to ensure that the facility systems were secure from potential breaches. "Let's conduct a full audit of our security systems," Carter ordered. "We need to make sure that we haven't overlooked any vulnerabilities." The audit revealed subtle signs of tampering, confirming Carter's suspicions. The team discovered evidence of unauthorized access to the lab's data streams, pointing to an infiltration of their network. "This is serious," Carter said, her voice grim. "We've been compromised. We need to identify who's behind this and secure our systems immediately." As the team worked to contain the breach, the secretive faction's plans continued to unfold. They were closing in on their goal, and the potential for conflict was escalating. The struggle for control of the superweapon was becoming more intense, with both sides vying for dominance. The secrecy surrounding the superweapon had created a shadowy battlefield where the true stakes were hidden from the public eye. As the team at Artemis Lab faced mounting challenges, the global powers' covert machinations threatened to tip the balance of power. The coming days would be crucial in determining the fate of the superweapon and the future of humanity's relationship with the alien technology. The clandestine struggle was far from over, and the next chapter in the conflict was about to unfold. The Artemis Lab was on high alert. With the breach of security now confirmed, Captain Eliza Carter had ordered an immediate lockdown of the facility. The team scrambled to secure the lab systems and mitigate the damage caused by the infiltration. The atmosphere was tense, and trust within the team was starting to erode as suspicions grew. Dr. Lena Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel worked feverishly to identify the source of the breach. They found evidence of tampered data feeds and unauthorized access logs, but the identity of the infiltrators remained elusive. The team's sense of vulnerability was heightened by the realization that someone with intimate knowledge of the superweapon systems had compromised their security. Amidst the chaos, a covert meeting took place within the shadows of the lab's emergency bunker. Captain Carter, Garcia, Patel, and a few trusted members of the team gathered to discuss their next steps. "We need to act quickly," Carter said, her voice firm. "The infiltration has compromised our operations. We need to find out who's behind this and regain control of the situation." Dr. Patel nodded, his face etched with concern. "The alterations to our data suggest that someone with advanced technical expertise is involved. We need to track down the source of these manipulations and prevent any further damage." As the team worked on securing the lab and investigating the breach, a shocking development occurred. A key scientist, Dr. Michael Roth, who had been a respected member of the team, was discovered to be working with a secretive faction. Roth had been secretly feeding information and facilitating the faction's access to the superweapon systems. The revelation came when an internal audit uncovered encrypted communications between Roth and an unknown party. An analysis of these communications revealed the extent of Roth's betrayal. He had been manipulating data, obstructing security measures, and providing critical information to the faction in exchange for personal gain. Captain Carter was the first to confront Roth. The encounter was tense, with Roth's demeanor shifting from defiance to resignation. "You don't understand what you're up against," Roth said, his voice trembling. "They have the means to control this technology in ways we can't even imagine. I was trying to protect us from the real threat." "Protect us?" Carter's voice was cold. "You've jeopardized everything we've worked for. The superweapon is now vulnerable, and we need to act fast to secure it before it's too late." As the betrayal unfolded, the secretive faction accelerated their plans. Sable, the leader of the faction, saw the breach as an opportunity to seize control of the superweapon. With Roth's insider knowledge, the faction's operatives prepared to make their move. The global powers were beginning to catch wind of the situation. Reports of the compromised security and the internal conflict at Artemis Lab fueled speculation and concern. Various factions within the international community began to maneuver for advantage, further complicating the situation. The team at Artemis Lab faced a critical choice. They needed to address the immediate threat posed by the secretive faction while also dealing with the fallout from Roth's betrayal. Trust was in short supply, and the risk of further sabotage was high. In a high-stakes meeting, Carter and the remaining team members discussed their options. "We need to reinforce security and secure the superweapon," Carter said. "We also need to prepare for the possibility of an external attack. Our priority is to protect the technology and prevent it from falling into the wrong hands." The team worked tirelessly to strengthen the lab's defenses and secure the superweapon. Meanwhile, the secretive faction continued their covert operations, aiming to exploit the chaos and seize control of the alien technology. As the team at Artemis Lab faced mounting pressure, the stakes of the conflict became clearer. The betrayal had exposed vulnerabilities and heightened the urgency of the situation. The next steps would determine whether the superweapon could be safeguarded or whether it would fall into the hands of those who sought to use it for their own ends. The battle for control of the superweapon had reached a critical juncture, and the fate of the technology, and potentially humanity's future, hung in the balance. The atmosphere at the Artemis Lab was fraught with tension as the team worked to secure the superweapon and address the fallout from Dr. Roth's betrayal. Captain Eliza Carter and her team had managed to strengthen the facility's defenses and regain control of the compromised systems, but the damage had been done. The breach had not only jeopardized their mission but had also fueled growing unrest among the public and various factions within the global community. As the news of the breach and the internal conflict at Artemis Lab spread, the international situation became increasingly volatile. The secretive factions' manipulations had sown discord and distrust, and some groups began to question the legitimacy and safety of the superweapon project. The media and public opinion were abuzz with speculation and fear, creating a volatile environment ripe for unrest. In response to the rising discontent, a rebellion began to take shape. The rebellion was driven by a coalition of activists, scientists, and concerned citizens who opposed the secretive faction's influence and the perceived risks associated with the superweapon. They called for an end to the project and demanded transparency and accountability. The uprising gained momentum as protests and demonstrations erupted in major cities around the world. The movement was fueled by a mix of genuine concern and conspiracy theories, and it quickly became a powerful force challenging the status quo. Social media platforms were flooded with calls for action, and public pressure mounted on governments and organizations involved in the superweapon project. The rebellion's leaders, including prominent activists and whistleblowers, called for a drastic shift in how the superweapon was handled. They demanded that the technology be secured and placed under international oversight, free from the influence of any secretive or manipulative factions. Captain Carter, aware of the growing unrest, faced a difficult dilemma. While she understood the rebellion's concerns, she also recognized the potential for further instability if the situation was not managed carefully. She needed to balance the need for security with the demands for transparency and accountability. In a bid to address the public's concerns, Carter and the remaining team members began working on a plan to engage with the rebellion's leaders. They sought to establish a dialogue and address the issues raised by the uprising. The goal was to defuse tensions and find a solution that would satisfy both the public's demand for transparency and the need to secure the superweapon. A high-stakes meeting was organized between the rebellion's leaders and a delegation from Artemis Lab. The meeting took place in a neutral location, away from the media spotlight. The atmosphere was tense as both sides prepared to negotiate. The rebellion's leaders, including Sarah Chin, a leading activist and outspoken critic of the secretive faction, and Dr. Samuel Hayes, a former scientist with insider knowledge, presented their demands. They called for an immediate halt to any further experimentation with the superweapon and insisted on an independent international committee to oversee its future. Captain Carter, along with Dr. Lena Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel, represented the Artemis Lab. They acknowledged the validity of the concerns raised by the rebellion and proposed a compromise. They agreed to the formation of an independent oversight committee comprised of international experts and representatives to ensure transparency and accountability. "We understand the need for oversight and transparency," Carter said during the meeting. "Our primary goal is to ensure that the superweapon is handled responsibly and safely. We're committed to working with you to address these concerns and find a solution that benefits everyone." The negotiations were tense, but both sides ultimately reached an agreement. The formation of the Oversight Committee was announced, and the rebellion's demands for transparency and accountability were met. The committee would have access to the superweapon's data and operations, and its findings would be made public. The agreement helped to calm the uprising and restore some degree of stability. The public's trust in the project was partially restored, and the immediate threat of widespread unrest was mitigated. However, the situation remained fragile, and the Oversight Committee's work would be crucial in maintaining transparency and addressing any ongoing concerns. As the rebellion subsided, the team at Artemis Lab continued their efforts to secure and understand the superweapon. The formation of the Oversight Committee marked a new phase in the project, one characterized by increased scrutiny and a renewed commitment to responsible management. The uprising had exposed the deep-seated tensions and complexities surrounding the superweapon project. The path forward would require careful navigation, and the next chapter in the story was poised to unfold. With the formation of the Oversight Committee, the immediate tensions had eased, but the real challenge lay ahead. The committee's mandate was clear: to investigate the superweapon's capabilities, assess its potential risks, and ensure that its management was transparent and accountable. The committee consisted of respected international experts, including scientists, security analysts, and ethicists. The committee's first task was to conduct a comprehensive review of the superweapon's data and operations. Dr. Lena Garcia, Dr. Raj Patel, and Captain Eliza Carter worked closely with the committee, providing access to all relevant information and facilitating their investigation. As the committee delved into the superweapons technology, they uncovered new and startling revelations. The superweapons design was more intricate than previously realized, with multiple layers of advanced technology interwoven in ways that defied current scientific understanding. The breakthrough came when the committee discovered hidden features within the superweapons control systems. These features suggested that the superweapon was not merely a weapon but a sophisticated piece of technology with multiple functions and purposes. The technology appeared to have been designed for both defensive and offensive applications, with the ability to harness and manipulate various forms of energy. Dr. Samuel Hayes, a key member of the Oversight Committee, uncovered a crucial piece of information. Embedded within the superweapons programming was a set of directives and protocols that had remained dormant until now. These directives appeared to be part of an advanced AI system integrated into the superweapon, capable of making autonomous decisions based on its operational parameters. This AI is unlike anything we've ever encountered, Hayes reported to the committee. It has the ability to analyze data, make decisions, and even alter its own programming. It's a level of sophistication that suggests this technology was designed by a civilization with advanced artificial intelligence capabilities. The revelation of the AI system within the superweapon raised both opportunities and concerns. The AI could potentially provide insights into the technology's full range of functions and capabilities. However, it also posed risks if its directives were not properly understood or controlled. Dr. Lina Garcia and her team began working with the AI system to explore its functions and capabilities. They were cautious, aware that any interaction with the AI could have unintended consequences. The goal was to unlock the AI's knowledge and understand its directives without triggering any defensive or autonomous responses. As they worked, the AI revealed more about the superweapon's intended purpose. It became clear that the technology had been designed as a deterrent, a means of protecting its creators from potential threats. The superweapon had the capability to project immense energy fields and create powerful defensive barriers, as well as to launch devastating attacks if necessary. The AI's directives also included protocols for ensuring the safety and security of the technology. These protocols were designed to prevent unauthorized access and misuse, which explained the challenges the team had faced in interacting with the superweapon. The committee's investigation brought to light the potential for the superweapon to be used in both defensive and humanitarian applications. The technology's advanced energy manipulation capabilities could be harnessed for a range of purposes, from providing sustainable energy solutions to defending against natural disasters. However, the AI's directives also included warnings about the potential dangers of the superweapon's offensive capabilities. The committee recognized the need to establish strict controls and safeguards to prevent any misuse or unintended consequences. The revelation of the superweapon's full range of capabilities and the AI's role in its operation marked a turning point in the project. The Oversight Committee's findings provided a clearer understanding of the technology and its potential applications. The challenge now was to manage and harness the superweapon's capabilities responsibly while ensuring its safety and security. As the investigation concluded, the committee prepared to present their findings to the public. The goal was to provide transparency and build trust, addressing the concerns raised by the rebellion and ensuring that the superweapon's future was guided by principles of safety and accountability. The revelation had transformed the project from a source of conflict into a potential force for positive change. The next steps would be critical in determining how the superweapons technology would be utilized and integrated into humanity's future. Following the dramatic revelations about the superweapon and the integration of its advanced AI system, the international community was faced with a crucial decision: how to proceed with the management and application of this powerful technology. The Oversight Committee's findings had provided clarity, but also highlighted the potential for both tremendous benefit and significant risk. To navigate this complex situation, Captain Eliza Carter, Dr. Lina Garcia, and Dr. Raj Patel recognized the need to build a broad and inclusive alliance. The aim was to bring together various stakeholders, including governments, scientific communities, and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, to collaborate on the responsible use of the superweapons technology. The formation of the alliance was a multi-step process involving diplomatic negotiations, scientific collaboration, and public engagement. The goal was to ensure that the superweapons technology would be used ethically and for the benefit of all humanity, while also safeguarding against potential misuse. 1. Diplomatic negotiations. The initial phase of building the alliance involved high-level diplomatic negotiations. Leaders from major world powers, including representatives from the United Nations and regional organizations, were brought together to discuss the terms of the alliance and the oversight of the superweapon. Captain Carter and the Oversight Committee played a pivotal role in these negotiations, presenting the findings of their investigation and outlining the proposed framework for international cooperation. The framework included measures for transparency, security, and joint decision-making. The negotiations were challenging, with various countries expressing differing views on how the superweapon should be managed. Some nations were eager to access the technology for their own strategic interests, while others were wary of the potential risks and sought stricter controls. After intense discussions and compromises, an agreement was reached. The alliance would be structured as a global consortium, with representatives from participating nations, scientific institutions, and NGOs. This consortium would oversee the management and application of the superweapons technology, ensuring that it was used responsibly and for the greater good. 2. Scientific collaboration. With the diplomatic framework in place, the next step was to establish a scientific collaboration to further explore and develop the superweapons technology. The goal was to harness its capabilities for peaceful and beneficial applications, such as sustainable energy and disaster relief. Dr. Lena Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel were appointed as key members of the Scientific Advisory Board for the Alliance. They worked with researchers and engineers from around the world to advance the understanding of the superweapons technology and explore its potential uses. The scientific collaboration focused on several key areas. Energy solutions, investigating how the superweapon's advanced energy manipulation capabilities could be applied to create sustainable and clean energy sources. Disaster relief, exploring how the technology could be used to address natural disasters, such as by creating energy shields or providing emergency power supplies. Medical applications, examining potential medical applications, such as using the technology to develop advanced diagnostic tools or treatments. The collaboration yielded promising results, with initial experiments demonstrating the superweapon's potential for positive impact. The technology showed great promise in areas such as energy efficiency and disaster response, offering new opportunities for global progress. 3. Public engagement. Throughout the process, public engagement was a critical component of building trust and support for the Alliance's efforts. The Oversight Committee and the Alliance's leadership worked to communicate their goals and progress to the public, addressing concerns and providing updates on the technology's applications. Public forums, informational campaigns, and educational programs were established to ensure that people were informed about the superweapon's potential benefits and the measures in place to ensure its safety. The aim was to foster a sense of shared responsibility and involvement in the project. The Alliance's efforts to engage with the public helped to build confidence and support for the responsible use of the technology. People from diverse backgrounds and professions contributed ideas and feedback, enriching the collaborative process. 4. The first test. As the Alliance's work progressed, they planned the first major test of the superweapons technology under the new framework. This test was designed to demonstrate the technology's capabilities in a controlled and safe manner, showcasing its potential for positive impact. The test was conducted in a remote and secure location, with extensive precautions in place to ensure safety. The results were promising, confirming the technology's ability to deliver significant benefits in areas such as energy generation and disaster relief. The successful test marked a milestone for the Alliance and the global community. It demonstrated the potential for the superweapons technology to contribute to a brighter future, while also reaffirming the importance of responsible management and oversight. As the Alliance continued its work, the focus remained on ensuring that the superweapons technology was used ethically and for the benefit of all humanity. The collaborative effort represented a new chapter in the project, one defined by cooperation, innovation, and a shared commitment to making a positive difference. With the establishment of the Global Alliance and the successful demonstration of the superweapons technology, a new era of collaboration and innovation began. The focus was now on ensuring that the technology was used to advance humanity's future in a way that honored the lessons learned from its tumultuous past. 1. The Alliance's continued efforts. The Global Consortium, composed of representatives from various nations, scientific institutions, and NGOs, continued its oversight of the superweapons technology. The consortium's mandate included ongoing research, development, and ethical management of the technology. Dr. Lina Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel remained integral members of the Scientific Advisory Board. They worked tirelessly to explore new applications and ensure that the technology was harnessed for the greatest benefit. Their efforts focused on expanding the technology's positive impact while maintaining strict controls to prevent misuse. The Alliance established several initiatives. Global energy projects, leveraging the superweapons' advanced energy manipulation capabilities to develop sustainable energy sources and address energy shortages in underserved regions. Disaster response programs, implementing technology-driven solutions for disaster relief, including energy shields to protect against natural hazards and rapid response systems for emergency situations. Health and research collaborations, supporting medical research and applications, using the technology to advance diagnostic tools and treatments for various health conditions. 2. Building a lasting legacy. The success of the Superweapon project, now a symbol of global cooperation and innovation, was celebrated as a milestone in human achievement. The technology's positive contributions to energy, disaster relief, and healthcare became a testament to what could be achieved through collective effort and responsible stewardship. The Global Consortium continued to engage with the public, fostering transparency and inclusivity. Educational programs were established to inform future generations about the technology's potential and the importance of ethical management. These programs aim to inspire young scientists, engineers, and leaders to contribute to a better future. Captain Eliza Carter, having played a crucial role in the project's success, retired from her position with a sense of accomplishment. She had seen the superweapons' potential evolve from a source of conflict to a tool for positive change. Her leadership and dedication had been instrumental in navigating the challenges and ensuring that the technology was used responsibly. Dr. Lina Garcia and Dr. Raj Patel also became influential figures in the scientific community. Their work on the superweapons technology had earned them recognition and respect, and they continued to advocate for responsible innovation and collaboration. 3. Reflections and new beginnings. As the years passed, the legacy of the Superweapon project became a source of inspiration and reflection. The technology had transformed from a symbol of potential danger to a beacon of progress and hope. It served as a reminder of the importance of ethical considerations and the power of unity in addressing global challenges. The story of the Superweapon project was recounted in educational materials, documentaries, and public discussions. It became a case study in responsible technological development and international cooperation. The lessons learned from the project were applied to other areas of research and innovation, guiding future efforts to ensure that technology was used for the greater good. The final chapter of the Superweapon story was not an end, but a new beginning. The technology's legacy was defined by its positive impact and the collaborative spirit that had driven its development. The global community looked to the future with optimism, inspired by the achievements of the past and committed to building a better world. The Superweapon project had left an indelible mark on humanity's journey, demonstrating that even the most complex and challenging technologies could be harnessed for the benefit of all. The legacy of the project was one of hope, innovation, and the enduring power of collective effort.